Is that possible? Can we, like, make a new layer for each of us and we, like, all draw together? Because it was funny when Kat was trying to contribute to my Fandangly as I was going. Let's get a word.
Give us a word, McKay. We're gonna
give
us a terrifying word. We're gonna make the scariest thing ever.
Terrifying word.
Cheating started before you heard the word.
Sorry.
Zurblekirk. Alright, I'll write that out.
Zerbakirk?
Yeah, that's what I said.
I like it. I have no idea what it is, but I like it.
I'm gonna start on his mouth. Okay, here he is.
This looks like a continent and also a grotesque alien monster.
Yeah, he's one of those.
Have you ever considered the fact that continents are grotesque alien monsters?
What?
This is...
Every continent is, in fact, a weird alien monster.
Yeah.
Is that his eye that you're making?
We're not allowed to communicate. We gotta just figure it out based on what appears on the screen for each other.
It's a bowl of peas on his neck. Ah!
I like its little features.
That's the noise that he makes when he's happy.
That's what the Zurblekirk makes. Hey. Did you know?
Oh no.
That the average life of a boy is 3.
No pooping!
What?
What is this? Oh my gosh. Oh my.
Everybody poops, Cat. Even the Zurblekirk. Especially the Zerbakirk.
Especially? He just continuously poops?
Yes.
I have made him better. He is fixed.
That is what the Zer means. Zer means poop frequently. It's the Latin root of zerpoopulate.
What? Part of me thought that might be plausible for a half a second, and then I was like, hang on, this is true.
I will provide you with random facts about the Zurblekirk as you draw him.
Tell me.
Okay.
Did you guys know that the Zurblekirk is native to the land of Pluto, and once Pluto was declared not a planet, they started planning a riot upon Earth to regain their planetary status, but their only problem was that Earth's atmosphere was too spicy, and they couldn't get through it.
Too spicy?
So they had to go back to Pluto, and that's where they reside right now.
Where they plot the revenge.
Yeah, they do have a GoFundMe page if you want to help them with their revolution to get Pluto recognized as a planet again. They say they come in peace, and they only want to just be recognized as, like, an actual planet. But, you know, they might resort to violence if we don't give them what they want. The Zurblekirk, they don't have boys. They are an all-female race, and they reproduce just by
crying.
Yeah, actually you're right. They
Their
cry.
tears.
Whenever they cry, their tears, they take a little bit of their DNA, and then it, like, drops to the ground, and it plants, like, a seed. And it takes about a year for the Zurblekirk seed to, like, grow into a little, like, it starts like a little root, and then a stem, and then it, like, has this little cocoon thingy. It takes about a year for it to be ready, and then it, like, blooms like a flower.
How do you
and
know
inside...
so much about these species? Are you one of these Plutonians?
She is a Zurblekirk!
No, I'm definitely not a Zurblekirk. What do you mean?
She is a female.
Oh no! All females are actually Zurblekirks. Conspiracy theory.
Question, what are baby Zurblekirks called?
Zerbakirk.
Zerbakirks.
Why are we so in sync?
I don't know.
Shermie must be one in disguise too, because he really knew a lot about what they were called.
You mean
I
she?
am not of the female.
I don't know, you might be disguising, because Zerbakirks are known to shapeshift.
Aren't they known to shapeshift?
Yeah, you know, it's kind of like Among Us, they can't hold it for that long, but they can shapeshift.
I see. So are we drawing a shapeshifted version, or are we drawing the real version?
This is their natural form, but they can shapeshift to, like, look like humans if they need to. Hold up, is Kirby a form of Zurblekirk? He's in the same, like, genus branch of Zurblekirk, but he's not that close of a relative, but you can see, like, the similarity in the naming system, because Kirby is actually, that's not his full name, that's just kind of a nickname. So his full name, I don't remember it at the moment, but
Kirby Zurblekirk.
Yeah, what Kat said. So, like, he's not directly related to the Zerbakirk, but he's a distant relative, so. See, because, like, he has kind of shape-shifting powers, too, because if he eats someone, he gets, like, their look and their power, he gets that for a little bit, but it doesn't last forever, so, you know, Kirby has some Zerbakirk traits in him as well.
Yeah, he's like a mixed breed Zurblekirk.
Yeah.
This is the weirdest documentary I've ever been a part of.
Hi.
Do
I
Zurblekirks
finally
have
finished-
pockets on the
oh,
clothes?
Yes. Oh, I love his top hat. Wait,
Oh,
that's like a
that's
mail
great.
delivery hat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why is it
He's got a
spicy?
tutu. How does the poop come out if he's tutu?
The tutu turns brown over time. I'm not gonna explain how.
Oh no.
Oh no! And he's got like a little wing. He's so front heavy. How does he
It's a
balance?
she, you're Mr.
How does she balance?
Zurblekirk.
Oh, he's got an eye here and then just another eye in his nose where his
Her
nostrils.
nose.
Sorry.
And the
Oh,
Zerbakirk,
no.
once their baby, like, once it blossoms and it crawls out of the little, like, blossom of the seed, then the Zerbakirk, they store them under that hat, and that's where they, like, spend the first couple months of their life, is where they, like, that's where they sleep. It's kind of like a kangaroo pouch, but it's just under that little hat.
That's so
Oh
cute.
no.
It is really cute,
I love
actually.
it.
What company does this guy work for? I mean, this girl work for?
That stands for, Zerbalmania. It's like it's kind of like the Disneyland of Pluto.
That makes
It's
sense.
just a
Nice.
really fun place where kids can like just have fun and like pretend that everything's right with the world.
Pretend that
and
Pluto is a planet.
Pretend that Pluto's a planet, and it's just like a really fun time for the kids. And so this particular
That's
Zerbakirk-
their main conflict in life. Everyone's just like, man, we gotta get Pluto recognized as a planet, otherwise we can't keep living here.
Exactly. But Zurblekirks, they love Pluto. It's like their heritage. They love it. They do not want to move somewhere else. So they're just like
Poor
really...
Zurblekirks.
I know, they're really upset that we just decided it wasn't a planet anymore. They really don't think that's fair.
They're like, man, we're gonna have to move if it's not a planet. How are we gonna live on this
Exactly.
planet?
Yeah, so
Oh,
I think
no.
if you guys want to like help the Zerbakirks out, you really
How
should
did they even
donate.
hear that Pluto wasn't a planet anymore? Did we send them a telegram?
Oh, they have their ambassadors here on Earth.
Oh. One of the shapeshifted ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, have you never seen like a Zurblekirk walking around on the street or something?
Clearly, you haven't been to Zurblekirky conventions.
Zurblekirky!
Harry says,
I love
okay,
this
makes
thing
sense.
so
Thank
much.
you, zoologist McKay.
No, it's Zerbalologist. We're
Zerbologist.
on Zurblekirky on Pluto.
Zurbologist.
I have given gills as well. But no, it just looks like she's really stressed.
It has gills and wings. I don't know what. I don't
Well,
know.
I mean,
Also
it's suited
feet.
for Pluto's atmosphere,
Yeah,
so.
Pluto doesn't have an
They have to be
atmosphere.
prepared for anything, because like sometimes people just like throw giant bottles of water at Pluto, and then like the planet
Who
floods.
throws giant water balloons at
That's a whole
Pluto?
other story. That's the guacamoles.
The guacamoles! Like no other. It's just guacamoles.
Yeah,
Just
no.
like the
What does
waste-
the Zurblekirky like to eat?
Their diet is particularly made out of shredded carrots. It can be a little difficult to grow those on Pluto, but they've made little like greenhouses and stuff, and then they also trade with Earth. They trade because their natural resource is something called plutonium.
Bitcoin.
Yes, exactly. They also do have a Bitcoin industry.
What? Plutonium and Bitcoin?
Those are their main sources of income, actually. And so they trade for their shredded carrots. 'cause,
All
like,
of them?
Yeah. And that's their main trade. They trade us plutonium and Bitcoin for shredded carrots. They don't actually need to eat anything else. That's like their main diet is just shredded carrots. But they can't eat the carrots whole because they don't like their
Too
mouths. See how
spicy.
weird their mouths are? They can't like crunch them properly because
It
like
doesn't
their
close.
teeth are so uneven. So they have to shred them off first and then they
Oh
eat it.
no, they just need a puree. No wonder they poop so much.
Their head is like 4 times the size of the body. Yeah, that was an evolutionary advantage because their brains are just so big that they needed more space for them. Because they used to just be like animals, just like any other creature here on Earth, but they started evolving and their
And
brains
that's how
got
they
so
developed
big.
Bitcoin.
Now they're like
They
30
developed
times as
Bitcoin.
smart as humans,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So they just needed space for all those brains, You thought dinosaurs were extinct, but no, they just moved to Pluto. Yeah, that is actually a little known fact. They are like really loose descendants of dinosaurs because once
Loose.
upon a time,
They're loose.
When the
So this
when
is
the
where
comet,
Rexman's parents went.
yeah, when the meteor hit Earth, it hit so hard it just catapulted a couple dinosaurs all the way to Pluto, and that's where they started a new life.
I'm gonna give her a long tail to like counterbalance her friend.
The way McKay is saying all of this makes it sound so believable. I could just. She sounds so serious.
I am
This
serious.
is-
What do you mean?
Yeah, this is an
Oh my gosh.
entirely realistic thing.
Yeah.
This is a lovely lady.
Thank you. I like myself too.
I was talking about the Zerbakirk.
That's what I said.
You are a
Cat
Zerbakirk.
is
She just
also a
confessed to being a
Zurblekirk.
Zerbakirk.
If you haven't heard of the Zurblekirks, it's just because they are actually...
You're a male.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty shy. They only really talk to other females. So, they can kind of tell the difference between male and female humans. They do get a little confused sometimes if, like, a male was to have long hair, or, like, if a female...
Were...
Yeah, if a female had really short hair, they might get a little confused. But they typically stick to only revealing themselves to other females just because, like, they don't really... Like, males are just, like, kind of a foreign concept to them. And they're just like, what the heck are you? And so they get a little scared. But they like to reveal themselves to females, and then they get a little confused if a female cries and doesn't spawn a baby, but they figure it out. It's okay.
Is that a tail? I love it. Is it like a octopus tail?
Mhm.
Color is a Zurblekirk, McKay.
They can come in actually like any color.
Whoa!
They're very unique like that, and they can even have like mixed colors. So every Zurblekirk has like kind of a different like combination of colors. They can even be like a bit of a gradient sometimes. And then there is the extremely rare, only barely seen before rainbow Zurblekirk. It is like
Yes.
it's really.
This is the rainbow Zerbakirk, guys.
Oh, are we picturing the rainbow one? Wow. It's actually like some people don't even believe it exists. Some people think that the one photo we have of it is just edited. But
Wow.
I have learned from sources it is actually not edited. It is completely legit, and it was seen only once. And we think the Zurblekirks are hiding her because
She's their queen.
she's really special, and we're not really sure why they're hiding her yet. I have my theories, but it is unconfirmed as to why they're hiding her away. My theory is that she has some sort of special powers because she's rainbow colored. But that's just a
McKay
theory.
explaining EJ Tasmanian devil noises? When did I do that?
Is it rainbow because it's multiple gender Zurblekirk? That's another theory. The other theory is that they're hiding this Zurblekirk because it's
Because it's a male?
Because it's a male. Yeah, that's the other
Whoa,
theory. Is
the
that
prime male.
Yeah. But we're not sure about that because what would the point of male Zurblekirks even be if the females can just reproduce by just
Well,
crying?
maybe
onto
they
the
can't.
ground?
Maybe it's all a filthy deception. They want us to think that they can only reproduce by just crying whenever they feel like it, but in fact, they really need this one male because he's the only one.
Yeah, the tail. The purpose of those little suction cups you see there from like the octopus kind of inspiration. That's actually so that they can pick up eggs and hold it in their little suction cups in their tails. Because eggs are like a delicacy. Their main food that they eat is the shredded carrots, but they will every once in a while partake in an egg.
An egg.
Egg.
But it's hard for them to like, hold it because they just have wings and feet. They don't really have like hands. So they
Not
pick
an
it up with
octopus.
their little tails. They they suction it, and then they can crush it in their little suction. They can like slurp out the inside of the egg.
Ooh, that's so gross. I love it.
Can you break down the etymology of it?
No.
The what?
Like what its name, where it gets its name from?
Oh, okay. So as we sort of established, Kirk is also related to Kirby, and the root of that word actually means it has something to do with like its shape-shifting ability because both of those creatures are able to some extent shapeshift. So that's what the Kirk part comes from. And then the Zerbil, that actually comes from the root word Zerbloom, which, as I mentioned, when the meteor hit Earth and killed all the dinosaurs, it just completely blasted a couple dinosaurs to Pluto. And so that's where the first part of their name comes from, is the Zerbil, because they got blasted all the way to Pluto. So they got blasted, and they also shapeshift, and they're evolving over time to become more and more like adapted to Pluto's terrain. So that is where their name comes from.
I actually have another question now. You made me realize I don't know how they communicate with each other.
Oh, good question.
Oh no!
Well, there was that noise that you heard me demonstrate earlier.
Can you do it again for us?
It's like it sounds a little bit like a bird's call. It's like ah! It's like that's their little that's their friendly noise. When they're just communicating to each other, they make like, it sounds kind of similar to like a bird you might hear on Earth. But when they're communicating with humans, they get a little perplexed because you see, sometimes they watch a lot of like TV on Pluto. They watch a lot of our Earthen TV shows, and like, people are very aggressive in those TV shows. So when they come to Earth, they think that we're just all like really aggressive. So when they're trying to communicate with us, they literally just go, ah! That's how they communicate. And you have to be well trained in the Zerbakirk language in order to decipher what they're saying, because they still sound a little bit dinosaur-y because of like.
How many times have they visited, and how many times have we tried to shoot them down immediately?
Well, you see, they shapeshift into something more natural when they're coming through the atmosphere.
I thought, is that to avoid the spiciness, or is that...
Well, see, the spiciness. They've learned to, like, coat themselves in Pluto's ice before they go through Earth's atmosphere, or else it is too spicy. So they turn themselves into, like, a bird, so that they look more, like, unsuspicious. And then they come to Earth, and they try to seek out people who look like they know stuff about Zurblekirks, because, you know, you just have a look
How
about shit
would
if you know.
anyone know?
If you know, you know. And then we have to decipher what their screeches mean, because they all kind of sound the same, but if you know, then you can decipher between the Zurblekirk screeches. It's kind of like an I Am Groot situation. Like, if you know Groot language, then you can figure it out, but nobody else really knows what they're saying, so.
This word is sounding more and more made up every time I hear it.
Yes.
Every word is made up.
You're right.
That's actually the Zurblekirk's motto. Can Zurblekirks die?
Probably.
No, I'm trying to call it in, but I can't.
Overpopulation would be a big problem if they just keep crying every time.
They're actually extremely allergic to pickles. So if you were to throw one in their general direction, they would die.
Their general direction!
Yeah. They're so allergic to pickles.
Oh, there we go.
That's,
but
like,
otherwise, they die
allergic.
of, like, you know, other normal causes. But, their lifespan is about 1,029 years.
Wow, very
29!
Yeah, 1,029, so...
They can't even get to
Okay.
1,030?
No, it's on record. There's no Zurblekirk who's made it to 1,030 to our knowledge.
Wait, so the average is 1,029. No Zurblekirk has ever made it to 1,030. They all live exactly to 1,029 years old. Exactly, and then they die on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, they all kind of know when they're gonna die, so
They just got a countdown clock so they can check their calendar and be like, oh no, sorry, I'll be dead that day, my bad.
And a lot of them are, like, really courteous to their fellow Zurblekirks, and when they know they're about to die, they just kind of dig their own grave and they just lie down in it. They're like, okay, see you guys in the afterlife.
Oh, there's an afterlife. Oh, what do the
Zurblekirkies believe the afterlife is like?
Well, you know, just like here on Earth, they believe different things. Some of the Zurblekirks don't believe that there's any afterlife. Some of them believe that they get reincarnated as, like, a smaller dinosaur, like a lizard back on Earth or something. But the main belief of the Zurblekirks is that they will ascend to a higher plane of being.
Oh.
And they will become these, like, big space whales that are, like...
Space whales!
They travel through space, and they're so big that you wouldn't even, like, see them coming. They just look like the rest of outer space, because they're just, like, so huge and void. But they're, like... Being a space whale is actually really fun, because, like, a colony of, like, people starts to live on you, and they build, like, a whole society, and you become, like, basically a planet of your own. Like, not that you own your own planet, you are the planet, but you're also a whale. And so, that's, like, the main belief of the Zurblekirks, is that when they die, they will get to provide life and shelter for another species that is in the cosmos, and maybe that other species is sad because their planet got deemed as not a planet anymore, so the Zerbakirk can provide redemption for those people.
Yeah, do Zurblekirkies, do they make friends? Or have relationships? Or are they like loners?
They make friends, but they have a strict policy of only having 7 friends.
Only 7?
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I also live by that, except only 5.
And, like, it's kind of... It's difficult for them sometimes, because if they have 7 friends and then they meet someone else that's cool, they're like, oh, which friend's gotta go? And they have to throw away a different friend. So
how is this enforced? Fair. Is this, like, self-imposed, or...?
No, it's just kind of like a societal
Is there like, a law? Like, you'll get arrested?
Yeah, what's the punishment?
there's not really, like, a punishment, but you will probably get, like, shunned by your peers, because if you have more than 7 friends, people think you're just looking for attention, and you're, like, really desperate, so they'll kind of look down on you, and they'll be like, wow, this person...
And then you'll have 0 friends?
Yeah, exactly. You'll just kind of get ditched by the other Zurblekirks, because they'll be like, you're cheating on us with these other
How
friends?
dare you?
What?
Now we're gonna make room in our friends lists. There's tons of people that I could use to replace you.
Exactly. So, it's very... there's some cliques in the Zerbakirk culture. Do they have religion in general? They praise any gods? Yeah, there is actually, like, the biggest space whale to ever exist, and he... yeah, his name is actually...
That's the space whale that controls gravity by its blowing out space whale juice.
Yeah, space whale juice, precisely.
What? Space whale
So he is
juice?
their main deity. His name is Freyho, and they all worship him by... they donate some of their shredded carrots. They like leave it out on a little altar for him, which is like a big sacrifice for these guys because the shredded carrots are hard to come by and they're their favorite food, but they always leave some out for their space whale because they believe that like the space whale, that he will like kind of just come and like consume Pluto every once in a while, but like you don't...
What? Consume it every once in a while?
Yeah, what is it? It's like once in 1,000 years, so it's within each of their lifetimes.
Yeah, they hope that to live to see the next great consumption of the,
Oh my gosh,
Pluto. Chicken Nugget says 1029 Pluto or Earth years. It's Earth years because they did originate from Earth, so they didn't ever like change their year system necessarily. And also us Zurblekirkologists, we just measure it by Earth years because that's easier that way. Do Zurblekirks have multiple religions? Yeah, as I said, just like people here on Earth, they do have multiple religions. There's the other one I mentioned where they believe that they get reincarnated as like a lizard or a crocodile or something. And that was actually kind of nice because those, usually the ones that believe in that are the ones that are particularly fond of humans. And so they just kind of want to live on Earth and see what's that like. Because some of them, Pluto's great and all, but some of them are like, there's like not a lot of scenery, it's kind of like barren in some places. Earth seems kind of cool. So they kind of want to like be reincarnated, and then like some of them even want to be kept as pets. Some of them just want to be like chaotic alligators in Florida, the likes. And then
Florida,
there of course are the snooty ones that are all like, there is no deity, there is no afterlife, we just die and that is all. And those ones are actually pretty emo and edgy. But nobody really likes those ones as much because they're all just like, they're really pessimistic about life and everyone's like, oh my gosh, what the heck. Coincidentally, those are the ones that actually did get too many friends and they got ostracized from their friends group, so the reason that they think that is probably because they're actually really depressed, so...
That's fair. And also, once they have 0 friends, they're still ostracized because having 0 friends is worse than having more than 7 friends,
Yeah, because if you have more than 7 friends, you're desperate for attention, but if you have no friends at all, then there's something wrong with you, so...
I love him.
Oh, it's so pretty! Look at him!
Very.
See, that
What are politics like?
Her!
Well, yes,
No, this one is a him.
If it's the rainbow one, it could be
The
the fabled
fabled-
him,
the
if you
fabled
believe
rainbow.
the conspiracy theories.
Do Zurblekirks have politics?
They do have politics. They are under a monarchy currently, and so there's a queen, and she came to power just by being the prettiest Zurblekirk.
Amen.
What, better than the rainbow one?
Well, that's another theory. The other theory is that they're hiding the rainbow one because the rainbow one, it's actually a pretty young one, and so they might be hiding the rainbow one to overthrow this current queen because this rainbow one is like very pretty. So that's one theory. There's also the male theory. There's also the magic powers theory. Because the current queen, she's a little touchy about other Zurblekirks being prettier than her. So if this one were to show up and overthrow her...
Tentacle strangle.
Yeah, because Zurblekirks, they can actually challenge each other to, like, a prettiness battle.
No.
Where they just, they look each other in the eye.
They call those
just
pageants.
Just, like, posing.
They just, they look each other in the eye, they do this specific screech to initiate the battle, and then whichever one of them is less pretty just dies on the spot.
Oh, no!
Oh.
And so, if this Zurblekirk
The
were
1,000
to challenge
years.
the queen and were to be deemed prettier by whatever forces do that. It's a little unclear what forces deem that.
The space whales.
Supernatural...
The Council of Space Whales
It
see through
probably
time and
is.
space
Yeah.
and judge.
Yeah, so if we hear any news about the current Zerberkirk queen dying on the spot because of a prettiness battle, then we will let you know. But so far there
Wow.
has been no change in the status quo for
This
quite a few
is
years.
such a strange news show.
News show. This is a documentary. What do you mean? It's a Q&A.
Do they all work for the same company, or is there like separate jobs for them, or is it kind of like an ant colony type thing where they're assigned jobs?
Yeah, some of them are assigned jobs. The ones that like, I hate to say this, but the ones that are kind of ugly, they're just assigned jobs. But the prettier you are, the more choice you have in your life as a Zerbakirk. And so
Just like being a human.
Ooh,
So there
green
are
poop. Interesting.
Oh, okay.
Why is the poop radioactive?
Oh,
yeah.
Plutonium.
their poop actually does directly reflect their moods, in case you were wondering.
What's like
Oh.
a mood poop?
Exactly.
Oh,
So,
no.
as was kind of stated far earlier in this conversation, they do poop like really consistently. You can always tell how a Zerbakirk is feeling.
It's just a
So-
constant stream. You can track them very easily, both by the smell and by the like fecal matter.
Can you give her a shadow, EJ?
Sure.
Zerbakirks actually, they produce shadows of light.
They what?
What?
Wait, what?
Oh.
Anti-shadows? They emit rainbows and poop constantly? Where do they get all this energy? Oh, plutonium. My bad.
Precisely.
Okay.
Are they good for the environment, or are they bad for Earth's
Probably
environment?
not.
For our environment or for theirs?
For Earth's environment, well, both. Tell me their effects on both their environments.
Well, their environment, they're pretty okay with that because, Pluto doesn't have a lot of natural resources on its own, but also Zerbakirks don't need that many natural resources. So they just, they build into the rock on Pluto. They make their little their caves and their houses, and they grow their carrots and they mine their plutonium. So they're doing pretty well over there on Pluto. And on Earth, it would be a little more rough if we had a lot of Zerbakirks there, because their appetite is just actually insatiable. All the carrots would just disappear instantly, and also their poop is really stinky. So if they were to come here, it would just be really smelly all the time.
How many Zurblekirks are there? It sounds like they would. How do they keep enough resources on Pluto?
They just try really hard.
They're really good.
Yeah, they're really good at surviving, because, most of them, it is rare that the Zurblekirk dies before the age of 1029. The only way that they can is if they're in a prettiness battle, or if a pickle is thrown in their general direction. Those are the two ways that you die before you're 1029 if you're a Zurblekirk.
I have a question. Does their poop smell worse than Ted Bundy's poop?
Yes, it smells exponentially worse. And that was when they were doing all the interviews with Ted Bundy. There was one scientist there, and he happened to smell a little bit of that poop, and he was like, my conspiracy theory is that Ted Bundy is actually a Zerbakirk, but people were like, I don't know about that. And so they decided that was actually not the case, because Zerbakirk poop does smell worse than Ted Bundy's, but it is kind of close,
Interesting. I'm glad I know that. So whenever I'm smelling poop, I can know. Should we be worried about the Zerbakirks? Are they friendly, or do they ever prey on humans?
No, it's very rare that they would.
They prey to the whales. Remember?
It's rare that they would be any threat to humans, other than their stinky poop and their insatiable appetite for carrots. But as I said, they're pretty shy creatures. They don't even really interact with human males. They only interact with the females. And they're peaceful. Their main concern is just getting Pluto recognized as a planet again. So as long as we get that taken care of them, there shouldn't be any problems. It's just if we keep ignoring them, then they might get more restless. But hopefully it won't come to that. We should be able to come to a compromise or something.
So can they see?
Yeah, they can. They do have as you can see, their eyes are a little bit buggish, fly-y. So they do kind of see a lot of copies of whatever they're looking at. But they're used to that, so it's not weird for them. But they're not nocturnal, which is why they emit shadows of light.
How many eyes would you think they have?
It kind of varies on each Zerbakirk, but actually the older they are, the more eyes they have. So they're born...
They just keep duplicating.
Yeah, they're actually only born with 2 eyes, but then as they get older, they kind of get another eye for every year of their life. So, they can have up to 1,029 eyes.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So you can instantly tell their age if you were really good at counting big numbers.
Yeah, you can tell if you're willing to sit there and count that long.
And does it correspond with Earth years, or how does that work?
That is a good point.
We track it by Earth years. They might have their own system of like calendar years and everything, but I'm using Earth in years for clarity right now.
Yeah, but it sounds like they have one eye per Earth year.
They do, yeah.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, because they originated from Earth, so I guess some part of their DNA is still like, oh, yep, this planet rotates around the sun one time every 365 days, but it's not actually that way anymore because they live on Pluto. But someone forgot to tell their DNA that, so...
Someone draw their tear becoming a plant. It becomes a plant, right?
Yeah, it becomes like a little sprout that grows into like, it has this kind of like blob that looks almost like a Ivysaur kind of thing. In which the baby is contained until about a year old, where the baby comes out and then lives under its mother's hat for a little while. Silver says, what's their favorite human TV show? They all have, there's not a universal favorite, because they're all their own individual people. They're not just like a hive mind with the favorite TV show. But, some popular ones, they like the Jurassic Park movies, because it kind of reminds them of their ancestors a little bit. They also like the TV show The Walking Dead. They just
Shroomy, maybe disappear that bit.
They also like Star Trek. Harry says, what holidays or special events do Zerbakirk celebrate? What traditions do they have? Well, they do have birthdays, just like we do. But they obviously don't call them birthdays because they don't give birth. They call them, bloom days because they bloom from like a little pod. So they do celebrate their bloom days. But typically, those kind of get further and farther between as they get older, because they live a really long time, so it gets kind of exhausting to celebrate every single year. But for the babies, they'll celebrate every year, because, that's cute. They do have a day that, like, celebrates them coming to Pluto, because they got blasted off from Earth and they came to Pluto. So, that day they call Shower Day, because it's like a meteor shower.
Do they take showers on that day?
They only bathe once a year.
They don't take showers.
1 second!
They
Sorry,
don't
not
actually
y'all.
have showers. They bathe in like little pools. But they do they kind of create their own meteor showers. They light things on fire and they just kind of throw them through the sky to like simulate a meteor shower. To remember the day that the meteor hit Earth and catapulted them all to Pluto. And they all, they give each other their favorite rocks on that day.
They can throw things hard enough to just cause a meteor shower?
No.
You said they throw things and it burns up in the atmosphere to simulate a meteor
No, they
shower?
set things on fire and they throw them.
Oh, okay.
Just to simulate a meteor shower.
Gotcha.
And they exchange rocks on that day. They just find really pretty rocks
to their
and they
mothers.
exchange them. Because that's just a little tradition they have. And another tradition they have is carrot harvest, where they, every, what we would call spring, but every spring-ish for them, they harvest their carrots, and that's kind of when they have the most carrots, because they're, that's where they grow the best. So they harvest all their carrots, and then they have, a carrot feast, where they really treat themselves, and they prepare carrots in different ways.
Didn't you say that the carrots were only able to be grown on Earth, so they really
No,
needed real
I said they
animals?
have little, greenhouses,
Okay, gotcha.
but they can't produce that many on Pluto.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of limited, so that's why they still trade with Earth.
Gotcha.
But they can produce some. So during their harvest, they harvest their little carrots, and they prepare them in a variety of different ways. They have boiled carrots, they have, pureed carrots, they have shredded carrots, they have, They even sometimes treat themselves to, a raw carrot, but that can be really difficult for them to eat, as I said. So they just have, a feast of all these different preparations of carrots, and it's just a really fun time for everyone, because they just love their carrots. So.
What do they like to do in their leisure time?
Well, they like to watch TV, as I said.
Mm.
And they also have, some sports that they do. One of which is, it's kind of like football, but it's really entertaining for them because their heads are so big that they just, keep bonking each other. Their heads are actually used in many of their sports because, it's kind of bigger than the rest of their body. So, their kind of version of, boxing is they try to, whack each other out of the ring with their heads as hard as they can, and whoever gets, pushed out first is the loser. Mm-hmm. And so, that's kind of the competition they have, is like who has like the biggest head and can defeat their opponents like with their big-headedness. So that's something that they do. They also like to tell stories to each other, and like, you know, they sing to their little babies that live in their hats.
Aww.
You know, they're kind of a lot like us in that way. They have their own little things that they like to do. How did the Zurblekirks adapt to coldness when they were transported to Pluto?
Apparently they could survive space, so who cares about a little coldness? No wonder our atmosphere is spicy to them.
Exactly, yeah. The only dinosaurs that survived their explosion to Pluto were the ones that were already kind of like tolerating coldness. So like
The ones from Antarctica?
yes, the Antarctican dinosaurs. That is a theory that some Zurblekirkologists have. And so
Zerbologists, actually.
and so, you know, a lot of them did die in space, but then the ones that were like the strongest and were that
a lot of them. So all of their entire species just was like chilling in space together as they flew to Pluto.
Well, the problem actually is the ones that died, those are fossils now. So that's a Zurblekirk's version of fossil, and they can actually fly through space. They're just really slow.
How do they propel themselves in the direction they want to go? Oh,
they just start off.
Their eternal
and...
poop train, just equal and opposite reaction going the opposite way.
Exactly. Yeah, you're catching on. You're going to become a zerbologist someday.
I guess I am. Man, I'm making so many discoveries. I like to look at it. It's pretty.
It is pretty.
I like the colors.
Mm-hmm.
The shape, you know, is kind of terrifying, but the colors are nice.
The shape.
The colors make me happy.
I love it.
This is a beautiful creation.
It is. I love it.
I can add nothing more to it.
I hope you guys enjoyed your lesson on Zurblekirks.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I'm very informed.
How long did I just talk about Zurblekirks for?
Like an hour, I think.
What is wrong with me?
I don't
know how you came up with half of that.
I don't.
You're the most creative person I've ever met.
Thank you.
Improving skills 10,000.
I made up an entire species in society.
Well, thank you all for coming out to the stream. This was a good time.
Yep, I hope you feel educated.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you donate to the Zerbakirk Foundation.
Yeah.
So anyway, God bless. Thank you all for coming out to the stream. It was a fun time. I guess I shall end the stream, and yeah.
And may the space whales bless you.
Yes.
Yep, that.
May they bless you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.